Hello guys. My name is Fear Dragon, and welcome to yet another Patreon vlog. You guys might be wondering why this vlog is a little bit late. It's not entirely on accident. It's a little bit on accident, but it's mostly on purpose. It's because today is, as of June 23rd, Tuesday, June 23rd is 1:30 in the morning, and it is officially my 4th year anniversary of StarCraft 2 commentating, which is awesome. I'm excited about that. 4 years ago, back in 2011, I uploaded my very first StarCraft 2 commentary, and it was entitled Fear Dragon versus Grey Arrow. Here's a bit of a glimpse of it, and here's a bit of a taste of how terrible it was.
Hello. This is
Oh
Fear
man,
Dragon
listen to
here to
that.
bring you this Protoss vs. Protoss on Shattered Temple. Here in the bottom corner, we
Wow,
have
that is some cringeworthy stuff. That is pretty cringeworthy, but hopefully you guys agree with me that I've come a long way. I have improved at least a little bit. I don't think still got a long ways to improve, but I feel like I've gotten at least a little bit better than that horrible monstrosity of my first commentary. But I've been doing this for a while. I have no regrets or anything on any of the time that I put into StarCraft, but that's kind of the reason why I thought it would be a special sort of day. I'm gonna go over all the regular stuff and then just talk about one topic I just wanted to talk about. Something that's kind of been on my mind for a while. I feel like 4 year anniversary, good time to just talk about something. And I feel like these Patreon vlogs are a little bit bland sometimes, so I think I'm just gonna add one sort of interesting topic at the end of each one on any weeks that I really can. Can't guarantee I'll have something interesting to talk about every single week, but I'll try to find something interesting to just talk about every week. So, got something coming up at the end of this one if you want to stick around for that. But otherwise, really quickly, just some sort of updates on the Patreon stuff. Status of NA Ladder Heroes. NA Ladder Heroes is going to be beginning the next month. It's going to be the month of July 2015. And I'm looking over at my time, watch and everything, calendar. So today is the June 23rd. It's going to be beginning first month of July, first week of July. Sorry, it's going to be beginning in July. That's the first month that it's going to be beginning. Is what I'm trying to say. It's 1:30 in the morning. You'll have to give me some slack. But for those who are wondering, because I've been asked this a lot, when exactly is it starting? Well, the ladder season is beginning, I think, around July 1st, which means that the GM ladder list won't actually be out for about a week. So it's going to basically begin the very first week that the GM list is actually out. So that means we're going to have a shorter first month for NA Ladder Heroes, which is going to be a little bit weird. Is going to be some changes in the prize distribution because of that. Just because, again, there's one less week for players to get paid out, so that means that there's more money involved in it. And of course, all of the money for the first month of the Patreon supporters is just going to go to the first month of NA Ladder Heroes. So that's $128 going to be put into NA Ladder Heroes for the month of July. So look forward to that. Now, there's one other thing worth talking about on NA Ladder Heroes that has not been sorted out. It's sort of the unresolved issue with NA Ladder Heroes, and that's the point system. So for those who are wondering, the point system is every single week we award points to the top 16 players on the NA Ladder that are registered for NA Ladder Heroes, and the top 8 players that have the most number of points at the end of the month qualify for the monthly finals for NA Ladder Heroes. So the point distribution is something that I'm still figuring out. There is this sort of conflict between wanting to make sure that players can't just play 1 week and then just not play NA Ladder at all, because it's obviously against the purpose of NA Ladder Heroes, is to encourage more activity on the NA Ladder. I don't want some of the better players to just play 1 week and then just be done, never touch NA Ladder again, because that's, again, against the point. But at the same time, I want to have some degree of leniency where if players are, for example, traveling for a tournament and they aren't going to be able to play or really play effectively for about 2 weeks or something, I still want them to have a chance. If they're placing top of the NA Ladder they shouldn't be penalized because they're trying to attend other tournaments, everything. That's not the objective of this either, is to disincentivize people from playing in tournaments or practicing off of the ladder as well. So I'm trying to find a nice balance over there with kind of the mathematics of that. My ideal goal is if you're placing at the top of the list, like top 5 or 4, and you are, placing there two times a month, then I think that you should have a pretty fair shot of basically being qualified for the most part. But at the same time, I think that if you're placing like okay for about 3 weeks, then you should still also have a pretty good shot of qualifying. That'd be like top 8 to top like 10-ish. Top 16 probably going to be getting far fewer points, but still, that's kind of my mentality going into it. So I'm playing around with the numbers, seeing what I can come up with. And that's sort of what's going on with NA Ladder Heroes. Besides that, what's going on with me, I will not be commentating anything for the following week, for the most part. That's not because I've, 4-year anniversary, I'm retiring from StarCraft, nothing of the sort. I'm going to be heading over to WCS Toronto, and that is going to be for the Season 2 WCS Season Finals, and it's going to be freaking awesome. I'm really, really excited. Going to be seeing all of my good friends that I haven't seen, many of who I haven't seen since BlizzCon. Honestly, like, these esports events are some of the, like, my favorite points, like, the most fun that I have in the year. So I'm really, really looking forward to this one. If you are going to WCS Toronto, please say hi. If you remotely even know who I am, I'd love to just talk with you. I think it's always kind of weird when I meet people who I don't know and they know who I am. It's only happened like once or twice though. I feel like everyone I've ever met in an event that has said hi to me, I usually know them after they tell me like their Twitch handle or something. So if you do know me, please say hi to me and tell me your gamer tag, your Twitch handle or something. Like something that's not your, well, to also tell me your real name, but I'm probably not going to remember that. I'm just going to say that right now. I have a much better memory for gamer tags. And there's a really good chance that I'll have seen your tag in Twitch chat and I'll remember something that you said, or I'll at least have some idea of who you are. I'll have some conception of who you are. Because I think I know most of the people who know who I am. That's at least the feeling that I get. I think I'm still I still really just enjoy meeting people. It's half of the reason why I really enjoy going for those events, is just meeting new people and also people that I kind of know, and I get to know them even better. So if you are going to WCS Toronto, please say hi no matter who you are. Even if it's tell me that you hate my casting, I'll be like, hey, yeah, I agree with you. I hate my casting too. That's why I'm trying to improve it. But yeah, so no other casting or stuff coming up. No ESL, NA Open, or Team Gravity Fight Night from me. Might still be going on, so do check those out from SC2 Pluto or just the Team Gravity Fight Night channel on Hitbox if you guys are interested, but I will not be commentating it. I think that is it for the kind of regular Patreon stuff. But just because, again, 4-year anniversary, it's also now 1:40 in the morning, so I've been recording this for approximately 10 minutes. Wanted to sort of talk about a topic that's been on my mind, and really, really just every single time I see, or like half the time I go to our StarCraft, or not as much, but sometimes Team Liquid, I see all of these posts about a topic that really does get me pretty riled up. It's something that I really, really strongly believe in. And, I figure 4-year anniversary, late at night, this is like probably the best time as ever to talk about it. I tried to record a video about this a while ago, and I'll say what the topic is in a second, but I tried to record a video about this a while ago. I heavily edited it. I recorded it like 4 or 5 times, re-recorded it, trying getting a good take. The first time, I felt like it was a really, really good kind of from the heart talk, but it was so long I didn't really want to release it. So I ended up re-recording it a couple times and really heavily edited it, and I don't think it really came out the way that I wanted it to. I released it anyways, and it wasn't super well received. But the topic was kind of this idea that lately we've been requesting a lot of things from Blizzard. And it's very easy to get stuck into this sort of dangerous mentality of especially in the terms of, like, just put it in StarCraft terms. It's very easy to get stuck in this dangerous mentality of, if someone else can fix this problem, I don't need to fix this problem. I think that the StarCraft community as a whole has been getting into that rut a lot lately. And while I think it's great, and I think it's very, very important, do not get me wrong, I think it's so important that we continue to give Blizzard our feedback, that we tell them the things that we want changed about the game, because the second we stop doing that is the second Blizzard stops having feedback and they stop hearing our voices on things that should change, things that are good changes. Like one of the biggest examples is the whole scan radius thing that Jack Attack we can very much just thank the Jack Attack for making that kind of thing happen, because he gave feedback, and that's so important. But at the same time, it's very easy to just become over reliant on Blizzard's going to change this, and we don't need to come up with our own solution to that. And that happens in the game, I think, with a lot of pro players. It can become very easy to just say, well, I can't figure out a solution, or I can't figure out a solution to this in the period of time that I've invested into this. So at this point, it's up to Blizzard. It can't be solved. Like, I think it's sometimes very easy to get stuck into that sort of rut when StarCraft, at least to me, to my simpleton mind, it's such an unbelievably complex game that I think a lot of the times those things just take a lot of time to figure out how to solve. And not just in the game of StarCraft. I think this is just kind of logic that, or like a lesson that can really be applied to a grander scale of just life in general. You know, there's things that you can do. There's solutions that you can use to overcome. Because think about, like, just StarCraft in general. One of the most beautiful things about it is it's a strategy game, right? The second that we stop treating it like a strategy game and we stop saying things like, my opponent is doing X strategy, let me develop my own strategy to overcome it. The second that we just say, like, nope, this is the way that the meta game is, this is the way that, you know, strategy is, and the way that the game is, and until Blizzard does something to change this, this other race is going to be heavily favored. You know, it's an unovercomable obstacle. And as soon as we do that, I feel like we lose a lot of what makes StarCraft really cool. The strategy aspect of it, the ingenuity of new builds and new strategies, new techniques, all these new things that end up coming out because of that development of the metagame. And I feel like it'd be a shame to lose that. But beyond just the strategy aspect of it, I feel like there's been an over-reliance on Blizzard making changes to, or requesting Blizzard to make changes to overcome some of the obstacles we face in StarCraft 2 as not just an esport, but as a game, as both a game and an esport, and the kind of shrinking audience that people keep referring to, the lessening of interest, the growth of other esports in comparison to StarCraft. There's been a lot of that, the talk about those kind of things, as well as the different features that we end up seeing other developers give their games that Blizzard doesn't seem to be giving StarCraft. And while I do agree there are a lot of things that Blizzard could do better. There are a lot of things that I wish Blizzard would do. And I'm going to continue voicing my feedback on that, and I hope that everyone else does as well. But at the same time, I think that one very, very important distinction about the kind of complaints that I've been seeing a lot of is that there's this idea that Blizzard is the only one that can do anything about this, that it's all in Blizzard's hands, it's all or nothing, we have no control over the future of this. And I feel like that's so wrong. I feel like that's so false. Because again, it's that idea of we're putting everything on someone else's shoulders when we're not shouldering any of that kind of the potential for change. Similar to how, you know, if it's like if pro players stopped developing new builds and just said, this is the way that things are, the blink all in is too strong, the such and such all in or strategy is too strong, we can't do anything about it anymore, and we just give up on it. I feel like that's just a really, really frustrating situation. I hope never really ends up happening. And I feel like we're getting closer and closer to that kind of mentality, and I hope that it stops. I hope that people start considering the idea that there are so many more things that they can do themselves to fix problems. If you feel like StarCraft is having a shrinking audience, that less and less people are, or you want more people to play the game, I hear all these talks about bring microtransactions into the game, bring all these things into the game to encourage more people to play. I agree that Blizzard has a lot more control over this kind of stuff. They're they have a very important role over the success of their own game, but we also have a very important role in that. There are so many people that I see, not doing things as simple as asking their friends to just play StarCraft with them, talking them into it, saying, hey, maybe you don't play like the StarCraft 1v1 ladder games or something, but play some 2v2s with some friends. Ask them to play arcade games with you. When Legacy of the Void comes out, ask them to play Archon mode with you. There's all kinds of different things. Even if they aren't going to play the game, hey, next time you are watching a stream, if you have friends that are into games or esports, or heck, maybe they aren't even into esports, they're just kind of into games, send them a link to the stream and say, hey, let's hop on a Skype call. I want to explain to you why this is so unbelievably cool and insanely intense. Like, I feel like most StarCraft fans, if they're watching something crazy like, I don't know, Life versus Partying Grand Finals of GSL or something, like, most StarCraft fans are passionate enough and can identify why this is such a really awesome thing, right? Like, I think most people could at least explain and try and convey some of their passion to their friends. I think that people sometimes underestimate how much of an effect that can have, how much that can rub off on other people's enjoyment of something. When you are really, really passionate and really, really enjoy something, and you have friends that are maybe even just a little bit open to experiencing that as with you, oftentimes your passion and your enjoyment will rub off on them, and they will find enjoyment in that as well. I've seen that happen so many times. And I think that's it's just an example of something really, really simple that you can do. And that's part of the reason why I got into StarCraft commentating, is because I really wanted to share the parts of StarCraft that I really enjoyed with other people. I wanted to share how awesome I thought my collegiate Star League team was 4 years ago with the rest of my school. I wanted more people to tune in and support my collegiate Star League team, the CSL team for Purdue University, with other people, because I thought they were really awesome. I was really, really proud of them, and I wanted to commentate it. I wanted to bring more people and explain to other people why it was so cool and why they should care and support their university when they were competing in these other tournaments and making pretty deep runs. So small things like that. It doesn't have to you don't have to bring in as an individual hundreds of thousands or even hundreds of people in. You just do things in your power with what your time and your effort allows. And I feel like there are things that people can do and without committing their entire life to it. I'm not saying, drop out of school and get people to play StarCraft. That's ridiculous, right? But with how much effort people put into StarCraft and all these things that they keep putting into, they write long essays to Blizzard about how they're the only ones that can fix this problem, and if they just do X, Y, Z, then StarCraft will be saved and esports will be saved. But with some of that effort, just put it into some of the smaller things, or sometimes even the larger things if you have the time and effort for it, to just make StarCraft better for yourself, right? Get your friends into it, get other people into it. Increase the enjoyment level of people who are already watching StarCraft. There's tons of things you can do, no matter what your skill set is. There was a organization, I don't know who it was exactly, but someone made the website name lookingforgroup.gg, and it's such a small thing, right? The website was for finding practice partners for all different skill levels. There are people who were bronze level that are signing up for. There are people who gold, platinum, Grandmaster League players that I know, like Desro signed up on the website looking for practice partners, as well as some other GM level players. That's a really great thing. And then you think about, okay, what's one problem that people say? Oh, well, not enough people play the game. They don't enjoy the game because, StarCraft's such a lonely experience. StarCraft is such a lonely experience. That's this problem, right? This problem that we identify. Instead of just saying, Blizzard needs to make better chat systems and blah, 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 and, increase the usability of groups and clans, etc. Instead of saying all of these things that Blizzard needs to do and just leaving it at that, the developers of that website said, okay, let's make a better tool for finding practice partners. Because if you find practice partners, StarCraft's less lonely because you have people to talk with. You have consistent people to talk with and have fun and enjoy StarCraft with. Boom! Wow, they solved a problem on their own. And even though it's not going to be used by 100% of StarCraft players, or most likely not even 10%, it'd be awesome if a lot of people ended up using it, but most likely it's not going to be used by that many people. But it's solving problems for some groups of people. And they're going to continue to work on it. And they've been continuing to update it and grow it and make it better and try and grow their audience for it to try and solve the problem for more and more people. But it's something they did. It's not something that they requested someone else to do. I think that's something that the StarCraft community really needs right now. It's more people who are going to be proactive, not just talk about other people who need to be proactive. So that's my 4-year anniversary, 4-year casting anniversary StarCraft rant for the StarCraft community. Is just, if you're listening to this, be proactive. I know that there's a lot of talk about dead game StarCraft and everything, and it really, oh my god, it really gets to me sometimes. I complain to a lot of people about it, and how it really gets me down about how people just seem to complain about this and don't realize that they have so much control and power over it. They have so much control and power to make things happen, and they choose not to. And it perplexes me sometimes because I can see that they care about it. I can see that they want it to succeed or do better, but they don't take the actions that reflect that desire that they want for StarCraft to be bigger or more successful and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's probably as good of a spiel as I'm gonna be able to do. I think I'm approaching probably like 25-ish minutes on this video, so I don't want to keep you guys here any longer. Thank you all so much for tuning in and listening to my long rant about why I think we can do more than we sometimes let on. We can do more than just what we do. And we don't need Blizzard to do everything. It's awesome. It'd be very impactful. Don't get me wrong if Blizzard made change, but they're not the only ones. It's not out of our control. The success of StarCraft, the success of everything. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I want to give a huge shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. Partoof, Joshua Weston, Gilio Prone, Zelasam, KJ Freedom, Zizla, Bobble Convolute, and Technotrance. You guys are amazing. 8 Patreons who are supporting me and putting in a total of $128 a month. That's going to be going to NA Ladder Heroes. And thank you everyone who's watched any of my stuff at any point, and especially thank you if you've given me any feedback and told me how to get better at anything, including if you just said you suck. Not quite as helpful as giving me concrete feedback about something to improve on, but thank you everyone that's ever interacted with me in any regard. I do not regret a second of any of my 4 years in the StarCraft community commentating, nor any of the time even before my commentating, since I guess I've been in this longer than I've been a commentator. Been a fan much longer than I've been a commentator. I still consider myself a fan before I consider myself a commentator, but I'm appreciative of everything that everyone's done. And for everyone that's ever taken a proactive stance in StarCraft, thank you for making my experience better. Have a wonderful day, night, evening, whatever, and keep StarCrafting.